might think that I just come in there and look for knockoffs, and that's not the case. You know, I'm actually a sharp, smart fighter.
So, well, wait, I'm here. Who wants to fight me?
I really don't care who's in front of me. I don't feel like no fighter beat me.
My goal is to demolish everybody, to be honest. Everybody that's in my way. The pinnacle to any weight division is to have all the belts, all of the titles.
Welcome to Bodywork. Welcome back. It's Michael Rogers. Welcome to Bodywork Boxing. It feels so good to be back. Man, I hope everybody out there is just having a wonderful week. We're not quite at hump day, but we're approaching it. And I wanted to take some time and kind of get off the beaten path and reminisce for a second and talk about one of the aspects of the game that always interested me. The Phantom Punch. You know, we're going to get into that. Hopefully we're going to have some fun. Hopefully everybody did some woo-saws. Hopefully everybody feeling all right. And we get to talk some good old boxing. Cookie Monster say body work. Mic check, 1 2 1 2, sounding crystal clear. That's what I like to hear. Salute the Cookie Monster. I appreciate you. I got the best co-host on the planet in the building, AC. What's going on with you?
What's good with you, bro? Everything's good today. No, I was just gonna say everything good today, man. Just had a good day of research and stuff like that. And you know, a great day of conversations. So tomorrow I get to go and see how this thing that I showed you actually works, and I'll take it from there. That the image actually showed up this time. I'm pulling it straight from YouTube, so I guess it's just YouTube or today.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good, man. I like that you actually making progress, man.
Oh yeah, bro. It's just the last little bit of finishing touches to pretty much secure the fact that I'm saying to myself, I'm dotting the I's and crossing the T's and making sure you know, this is one of those Canelo Alvarez, Terrence Crawford offers and shit like that. You know, shit you just can't walk away from. Everybody just know it's for the bag to a certain degree. So I'm just trying to put an offer down that's like that.
Word. With the weather, how the weather been up there?
Man, it's fucking freezing up here. I have no idea what the fuck going on. They keep saying it's in the 50s, but that shit be feeling like once you outside, that should be feeling like the 30s. Like literally, I just had to close all the windows in the crib because I'm like, yo, why the hell is it so cold in here?
Yeah, the last 2 days, this whole week been cool, and I'm like, it's just weird. It was just so hot, and then I was like, okay, I guess that's kind of over. Even though I ain't no fool, I still stay bundled up. But just to be comfortable and not too bulky, man, popping on the long johns, man. I'm like, this weather It's so bipolar.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was just wondering because it was been chilly willy today. Well, not chilly. Well, it's compared to how it's been. It's been real tricky weather, man. You gotta have a hoodie. You gotta have a jacket. Gotta be able to remove layers. It don't know what it want to do.
Exactly. 81 day. Now you seen the blossoms and all of that stuff start to grow, and then it's just cold. Like, how is it gonna work out? What is this summer foliage gonna look like? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm already seeing, because the way it's so crazy, like the stuff is growing and then it's falling off the trees up here.
Hmm.
Y'all even got the weather, even got the trees confused.
That's wild. Shoot. I was just checking, man. Shoot. It's a lot, man. I don't know how long this gonna go, but this should be a real, nutritious, value-packed episode. We wanted to again get off the beaten path and just have some fun, reminisce, stir up some of them good old feelings about boxing. We're gonna talk about the Phantom Punch, but we do have some housekeeping. So let's go ahead and get into that. The first one, Lawrence, too much sauce, Okoli, pop, hot. When I first heard it, I was like, yikes. And why you say too much sauce? Because his real moniker is Lawrence the Sauce Okoli. But since he popped hot, I'm like, man, was it too much sauce? And there was some things I came across talking about this. And I know it's not a big deal because people are going to downplay it because he's from across the pond, but no. He's another heavyweight that was making his bones and, making a name for himself. Formidable and everything. People like to watch him. He bought that action. But the way I saw it was, and we'll be the judge of it because we'll look at, the source of it, but where I look when I qualified it or whatever, so I could get, more information about it. I kind of walked away feeling like, oh, this might be one of those. This could either be a Janabek situation, because remember, certain substances, it's just like, okay. Or it could be more like a Puello situation where when Puello popped, he was doing something to try to procreate and he wound up procreating. So I didn't look at that the same. It wasn't like the egg situation or nothing like that. Now, Okoli said some things, and just so people don't have to hear it from my mouth, I'll go ahead and pull it up. Where it's at? There you go. So I want y'all to be able to see this. All right. Let me pop this down for a second. Now I knew this. We was gonna have. Something told me all these resources start acting funny, man. I'm like, it depends. When you talk about certain things, man, like this YouTube, it never ceases to fail. But we won't forge on. So that's Okoli. Breaking news: Lawrence Okoli's VADA test shows an adverse finding. Wow. Lawrence Okoli, this was the April 2021. the day after 420, which is today. Heavyweight Lawrence Okoly's VADA test showed an adverse finding ahead of his Tony Yoka fight on Saturday, as the bout could be in doubt. Okolie currently occupies the WBO's #1 contender spot, meaning a win solidifies his claim to facing unified heavyweight champion Alexander Usyk. Moving the heavyweight has suited the Sauce, who has secured 3 consecutive victories since the jump. His most recent outing in December of 2025 saw him beat Ebenezer Tedder via an early stoppage. After a devastating 3-fight losing skid, Yoka successfully reset his career with a first-round knockout of Patrick Corte. However, an adverse finding means the fight might not go ahead as fans wait for an update. Last night, the Voluntary Anti-Doping Association, VADA, informed Queensbury that Lawrence Okolie returned an adverse finding following anti-doping testing conducted ahead of the show in Paris this Saturday. Wow, that's in Paris. A further update regarding this event will be made in due course. That was at 4 a.m. Okolie responds. Sometimes we got to hear from these boxers, and I like when they get out there and either get in front of it or address it. But Okolie responds, "This is a massive setback given Okolie has expressed his confidence ahead of the fight. However, the boxer has vowed to prove his innocence. Before anyone starts imagining the worst, following my bicep injury last year, I sustained an elbow injury on the same arm during this camp. I had treatment on it, and now we are here. I truly hope sense prevails. I will, of course, be fully cooperating with all relevant authorities, and I'm confident any investigation will clear my name. I won't be making any further comment at this time. Thank you for all your support and see you soon," Okolie said. So that's the first one. And that's one of the things where you kind of got to wait and see. Kind of got to want to see. Okolie was one of them, I guess you could almost say solid B-lister type, guys, with all of that heavy hitters. And that's no knock on him. It's just people not like, oh, when Okolie fighting, they wasn't just checking, especially over here. Some of it's bias, some of it's so many other big names in the heavyweight division that's making noise. There's some people that just won't let go. They still in it, halfway in it, 1 foot in, 1 foot out. But he goes on a back burner, and I guess I'm gonna have to wait and see, what happened with this before I render a judgment. From my perspective, I mean, blowing that situation out there in Paris, man, this is a huge fight. But I like his response. And if that's what it was what it was. Because there are boxers which we don't talk about. AC talked about it, who be getting these TUE, therapeutic use exemptions. And some of your favorite fighters are accustomed to getting those. But we ain't gonna really talk about that. So if it was one of them situations and he wasn't just good on his paperwork and they find that that's really what it was, he got injured, got treatment, and whatever. It's ways to do things. And if they find anything else or whatever it was or what have you, I guess we'll just revisit it once more information comes. But that was the sentiments from them as far as 4 a.m. So that's the first one. The second one, fans still thirsty for Canelo in a meaningful fight. Yikes! Man, I was going to have to go back down memory lane, and it's a little video that I did a while ago in 2022, to be exact. And it's wild how this channel was built on a Canelo. Like the first, well, I ain't gonna say built, but the first video I did was on Canelo and that shenanigans he was doing with Caleb Plant. That was the first one when I actually did a video and said, I'm gonna start doing this because somebody need to say something about this, because I was feeling like, man, why ain't nobody talking about this? Why is everybody looking at it like this? Because everybody was scared to get shunned and whatever. And I just said, look, if I start off like that, I don't got to worry about it. And if I just go by the truth and what comes out, and I base it on the information, I stay within the confines of boxing and come outside the ring as necessary, I'm gonna be all right. I'm always gonna have a fresh hot take. Why? Because I gotta analyze the information. I gotta read the tea leaves. Then I gotta use my critical thinking skills and assess the situation. And whatever is on my mind at the time is what I'm gonna be doing. And I try to stay in that vein. But I've been on Canelo. And it's wild. We in 2026 and fans are still thirsty because, ironically, as big of a fight people say it was, and all this undisputed, it was a great fight for Bud. That wasn't a great fight for Canelo. That wasn't even a fight we asked for. We really didn't ask for that. If we're gonna be frank and honest, everybody and their mother was wanting to see Canelo Alvarez and David Benavidez. Some people was like, okay, who's not biased towards Bivol, because I'm still hearing a lot of people are biased towards Bivol, even though he's nice. He's in my boxes to watch. He's one of my favorite guys to watch. You know what I'm saying? You talking about the sweet science and all that. But maybe a Bivol rematch. There wasn't much left for him to do. Just one of these guys who would be like, okay, because he did give some, to his credit. He was the money man. He could pick, choose, and refuse. He earned that ability. So he made a lot of money, a lot of bread. He did it his way. Like Frank Sinatra. He could bounce from promoter to promoter. But for hardcore boxing fans, I was putting stakes in the ground saying, listen, man, y'all want to let this go on and we're not going to get what we want. Now, there wasn't any solace in seeing Bud doing what he did to Canelo. Yeah, because that's what I was trying to say about these guys that pick and choose and refuse, who meandering and maneuvering and matriculating all through the rankings and doing all this. This my BFF, he in the network, I'm not fighting him. Acting like that. With all of these things going on and people ducking and dodging, Schofield ducking $1 million fight with Mason before he got a title. I'm like, man, it's a wild landscape. But I was saying that Canelo has set precedence. So when we look at what he was doing then and what people are asking for now, it's like we still here at 2026, or people still want to see him fight. But some people gonna come out and say, man, he can fight whoever he wants. And who's gonna argue with that? He's still the bag. He still can make money. I don't know how many more fights he got left before people really, say, hey, listen, hang it up. I don't know. I'm not sure. But it's just odd that even in this day and time, hardcore is the one that's not going to tolerate the BS. We're going to call it straight down the middle. It's odd that we still looking for him to have a meaningful fight. A lot of people will accept this and Billy one. But, I don't know. I don't know. That'll be a tough one, but, I'm not sure. And David Benavidez, I had an article for that, that I was going to go by, but David Benavidez came out and spoke on it. I don't know. This one is not that, but this is just to show that I'm not just popping. I'm not just popping nothing on my tail. Look at this boxing news. I'm not making this up. Canelo called out to give the fans the fight they deserve before retirement. I was saying this back in 2022. I was saying this 4 years ago. And yeah, he's gotten some fights. He giving some people some paydays and all that, but like people are still asking. April 21st, 2026, people are still asking. And this is the pulse of boxing. People are still asking for him to give them a fight that they deserve. Ain't that odd? That speaks volumes, given the fight that he had, the last fight he had, right? And I I always say, he who controls the printed page controls the thinking of this age. And sometimes a broken clock is right twice a day. So back when I was saying in 2022, they catching up now in 2026 and being bold enough to say something now. It's like, no, you should have said something all the time, because he wouldn't have been able to get all them big bags, and it would have been hard, and he would have had to answer all these, and he would have got a lot of pressure. But because we allowed it to happen, this is where we at. Despite of all of his accolades, Saul Canelo Alvarez has been accused of running scared and denying boxing fans the fight they deserve. Some people gonna say that's ludicrous. Well, if he would have fought this, then you're gonna have some knee pad wearing, throat coat spraying, tonsil jewelry displaying fans out here that's gonna get in front of this. We not gonna hear nothing. We don't want to hear none of that. They coming out, and I said, look, it's always a matter of time. It's like either when you retire or when you look like a wounded prey or you look like food. That's when they're gonna start telling the truth, not us. We're gonna tell the truth all the time. We ain't gotta come back and do all that flip-flopping and, you know what I'm saying, flim-flamming. Having become a 4-weight world champion, the 35-year-old has already cemented his legacy as a future Hall of Famer and one of the greatest Mexican fighters in history. Facts plus tax. Even at this late stage in his career, though there remains a desire to compete at the highest level and seek further challenges, this much was evident during his showdown with Terence Crawford last September, when Canelo lost unanimous decision. I mean, nobody thought he did anything, which is wild, because somebody, if you go back to the Floyd, but never mind, I digress. Decisions, but nonetheless, show glimpses of world-class flair. He now appeared determined to reclaim a portion of his undisputed super middleweight crown on September 12th, when he is set to enter a world title fight in Saudi. Then they're going to talk, let me see. Among the names mentioned for such an occasion, Christian and Billy, who was elevated from interim to full WBC super middleweight champion following Crawford's retirement. But while Billy represents a solid opponent, many will find it difficult to forget Canelo's lack of enthusiasm for a clash with David Benavidez. While the current WBC light heavyweight champion was still campaigning at 168 pounds, he repeatedly called for a shot at the Mexican, but was never presented with such an opportunity. For that reason, Benavidez struggles to see their fight ever materializing. Me either. I don't think it's ever going to happen. Telling Come and Talk to Me that he believes Canelo has actively avoided him. He's scared. He has no ball. That's what it is. Yikes. I give Canelo all the respect. He's done everything he's done, but at the end of the day, I was number one contender in 2 weight classes for a long, long time. He has shown that he doesn't want to fight me. It's really a shame, because this is a fight everybody wants to see. This is a fight that the fans deserve. I believe in myself and my skills 100%. So I feel like if he says he's the baddest man on the planet, why not give the fans what they want to see? Given that Benavidez's next outing will see him challenge unified cruiser champion Gilberto Ramirez on May the 2nd, it is becoming increasingly less likely that he will ever collide with Canelo. Though a promise to return to light heavyweight, given Canelo has competed in that division twice before, leaves fans some hope. I wouldn't hold my breath. I really wouldn't hold my breath, because I was saying this back in 2022. Nobody believed me. But I do want to play this one, and then we'll get into the last housekeeping after this. Let's see. Let's see. Mm. And shout out to the 300. I appreciate y'all, man. It's hard out here with these boxing times and what everybody's on, man. It's just, ew. All right, I got it, y'all. I got it, y'all. All right, here we go.
I think it's going to be a good fight, but I'm not a fan of the fight. I've seen for too many years in the sport, fighters like Mayweather and others get knocked and criticized because they picked a money fight. This is just a money fight. What has Golovkin done to earn this fight? His last 2 or 3 fights, he hasn't looked good. He's looked every bit of 40. He's looked older than 40 years old. Canelo Alvarez just came off of a loss, and we know that he went up to light heavyweight and took a major risk. But the fact that these guys are bringing this back around at this stage in their career, I think it only means one thing, is that Canelo Alvarez has to shine. He can't afford to have a close fight that can go either way. Golovkin is 40, and if Canelo is who he says he is, he's supposed to dominate this version of Gennady.
I have wrestled with an alligator. I done tussled with a whale. I done handcuffed lightning, throw thunder in jail. That's bad. Only last week, I murdered a rock. I love you. Angela Stone, I fertilized a brick. That's bad. So me, I make medicine sick. Last night I cut the light off my bedroom, hit the switch in the bed before the room was dark. All you chumps gonna bow when I whip him. All of you, I know you got it. I know you got it, Dick. But the man didn't come. I'm gonna show you how great I am.
When I was a casual, I thought as a casual, I spoke like a casual, and I looked at boxing like a casual. But when I became a hardcore, I put away all those casual things. This is Michael Rogers, and welcome to Bodywork Boxing. Welcome back. It's Michael Rogers. Welcome to Bodywork Boxing. Here you have Hall of Famer, SOG, Andre Ward. He on board with Top Rank. He calls fights. He has a pulse on what's going on in the sport of boxing. And I can't say that Andre Ward really has a favorite in either of these fighters. But you have him being brutally honest. And he wraps everything up in a nutshell. He says that this is basically a money fight. If you go back and you look in several of my videos that I've made, I've always said that Triple G was Canelo's side chick that he could hit whenever he wants. I said that it was like having a stash of money that you can go and you can bury or stash, and whenever you get low, you know where to go to get that dough. And that's what we got going on here. So we already know that Triple G, they're putting the age, the age stigma on him, that he's aging. So, they've already been talking about Triple G aging. So we're probably going to get something a la King Kong Ortiz about he done aged overnight and all that. Triple G been old. Okay? We're not going to move those goalposts. Triple G been old. He waited around for Murata. He didn't want no smoke with Andre. He didn't want no smoke with Charlo. He waited around with Murata for almost 2 years. Then he waited all the way until the end of the year to actually make that fight happen. And in that fight, the truth is, Murata had a lot of success against Triple G. Murata's game plan, I think he had a good game plan. I just don't think that his defense was crispy enough to execute it. What his game plan was to let Triple G, work himself into a stupor and get tired. And then he would go on the attack. And when he went on the attack, he would go on a vicious body attack. Now he would connect, and he didn't engage. For a while, he was trying not to engage, but when he did engage, he was very successful at going to Triple G's body, right? As the fight went on and they had to engage, when Triple G would step on the gas and they would engage, Murata would come up with the short end of the stick. And I think that if his defense was a little bit sharper, if he had better fundamentals, a la Bivol, he could have possibly had an upset against Triple G. But Triple G weathered the storm. He came back, he broke Murata down, and he got him out of there. You know what I'm saying? I won't say it was in devastating fashion, but it was more like exhaustion caught up to Murata, and Triple G still has thump. Because they say the last thing to go, no matter how old you are, is your power. What we saw on the Canelo side is that Canelo could not get past Bivol's jab. Bivol did not. It was times when Canelo was actually trying to invite him towards the ropes, and Bivol didn't do that. He was like, no, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to fight at my distance. He commanded the ring. He showed and demonstrated ring generalship. We know Canelo likes to go to the body. We know Triple G is starting to look like he don't really like it to the body like that. What I think this fight is going to boil down to is who has the better gas tank. It's not a fight I'm checking for. I just want to let y'all know that this might be the final chapter in Canelo Alvarez, aka Cinnamon Ginger's age well games. The age well games, making these moves, always making these moves. That's to his advantage in these questionable moves because he has, the sport of boxing in the chokehold. And I want you guys to understand that as a collective, when we co-sign and we stamp these moves that Canelo are making, we are setting a precedence. So all this, it's all about business, and you understand, and he's the face of boxing, and he makes this much money. Understand, when you apply that and you let that go and you co-sign that, when these people that's coming up behind Canelo, because we're already seeing glimpses of it, but people are all about the money. And people are all about making moves, when they got all the power and the glory. So understand that by letting Canelo Alvarez do this, by letting him come back to his side chick that he can hit whenever he wants to grab that bag, realize what we're doing. We're setting a precedence and people are watching. And people are saying, well, Canelo did it. You know why? Because we are giving, in this time right now, in this era, in the post-Floyd Mayweather era, we're actually giving Canelo Alvarez the same thing. Giving him privileges, and you're saying, oh, well, Floyd was able to do it. So now we're saying, well, Canelo was able to do it. So watch this trend. Watch this precedence that we're setting by co-signing all these weird, funny moves, the timing of some of these weird, funny fights, the stipulations on who we can and can't fight. Understand what we're doing. Because it was all good when it was catch weights and rematch clauses and rehydration clauses and short camps. Now, again, this would be Triple G's first fight up there at 168. And that's a stipulation. That's something to note. I don't have a dog in this race. I just know that, like Andre Ward said, he is not going to be able to get away with not looking absolutely stellar, because he could have chosen Benavidez and Errol Spence or Benavidez and Jamal Charlo. Yet he chose a 3-fight deal with the Zone, which they increased the pot by making it 3-fight deal so they could tack on more bread. And he went to Bivol right. He lost. Now he's going the Triple G route. He might lose. If he don't look good, he's lose. Either way, I don't know if this is really a win-win statement for Canelo unless he just go in there and knock out Triple G in devastating fashion, and it looked like Triple G couldn't do anything with him ASAP. I'm talking about within the first 4 rounds. Outside of that, this is a lose-lose situation for Canelo. And the third fight, don't be surprised if it's one Mr. John Ryder. Anyways, thanks for all the the new subscriptions. Thanks for the likes. Thanks for the comments. Thanks for the feedback. I had my first live and I plan on getting better. I got to work on some things. I got to figure some things out. So any suggestions, any feedback is welcome. Here at Bodywork Boxing, where we don't take things for face value. We do that body work.
All right. I believe you. But my Tommy gun don't. Get down on your knees and tell me you love me.
Don't worry, I do what I do. He knows what I'm about to tell him right now. It's Mr. Keep Running Your Mouth. That's what I
do. I just feel like I'm the champ, and at the end of the day, I'm just a fighting motherfucker. It doesn't matter. Inside, outside, I can just fight. So I just feel like if it gets down to the wire, we gotta lock it up. I'm not on top.
Hey, as you can see how I'm looking, I stay solid. I'm always solid. I stay fucked solid up, man. You know what I'm saying? To the fans that know.
Very job outside the ring. I'm a fighter. Like I said before, ain't no safety on the clock, so.
Now, that was just a little trip back down memory lane. So, man, people who try to say that Bodywork didn't change, people try to say that, I don't know what they say. I really don't care. All I know is that this channel has been the same way. That was just in 2022. That wasn't my first video. But I've been keeping the same energy this whole time. And it's a task. It's a task to be able to stay consistent, to be able to day after day, put one foot in front of the other and come out here and just give content. But like Bodywork and the source and what this channel has been about, we have not changed. And here we are in 2026 when people are finally starting to tell the truth. That's why I always say silence is consent. Meaning all it takes for you to prevail for men and women to remain silent. And what happened? Y'all people just be remaining silent and they want to talk about the dumbest shit in the world. Excuse my French. Not over here. No matter how hard it is, man, we stay putting something in your rucksack. And we're not compromising. We're not selling out. We're not clicking up. We're not copying and pasting off of nobody. We're not joining up and joining any cult memberships and all that just to, get fans. And, we're not doing none of that. We go, we rock out, we hit the like button for other channels. We give them kudos when it's due. We give positive feedback. We give criticism. We do it all. But one thing we haven't done was change. We have not changed. We stayed the same in that vein of telling the truth. The last one, Hitchens vacates the IBF title. And we had already said it. I didn't want to really do it because it's like I hate cooking one of my guys, but I got to keep the same energy. So one of my guys do something, I'll cook them. I'll do it in my fashion. I ain't going to get all belligerent and say they ain't nothing and put them in drag and do all this chronic crazy stuff. I'm not going to do all of that because, like it or not, whether you're fighting for Eddie, whether you're fighting for Al, your skill set is your skill set. And I'm going to rock with you if I rock with you. But we had already said that, you seen what happened with G.O.A.T, and that wasn't the first time. G.O.A.T knew what happened to G.O.A.T when it came down to that IBF belt. And this is why I always give the IBF champions more credit. They have the 10-pound rehydration, and they have one of the strictest. Well, no, they have the strictest sanctioning body. They do not play. People was crying when Boots got that belt, when he got his first belt. That was because they stripped Bud. Nobody cried for Jamel when they stripped him. That was Earl's first belt. He was ducking and dodging. They were doing the same thing they was doing to Bachram before Josh Kelly stepped up to the plate and did the unthinkable. They were using the IBF and all that, but they're so strict. And we already knew. We seen Gervonta the first time when they stripped him. Then he go over there to Zuffa. He was misled. I'm not going to point nobody because I like Josh, so I'm not going to get into that and have somebody take what I'm saying sideways. He got misled somehow. He go over there. They said if you go over there and fight, if it's for anything, if it's for a trinket or something like that, okay, cool. Rock out. You got our sanction. If it's for a championship and you're going to be their champion in their belt, Ixnay on the mixnay. You know what I'm saying? And he took his ass over there. He got a bag. He had his people out there. It was an emotional moment. It was, a touching moment. It was like something like, yeah, that's, if there was an American dream, even though he's not from here, that's the American dream. You got all your people, you making bread, you getting the title, you get recognized, you get to show out, show all your skills, perform, do all that, get out with a dub. All of that good stuff. Either way, right before the fight, the IBF was like, yank up. And that's why I said when Berlanga and Richardson Hitchens ran over there, I said, man, they the latest victims of this Zuffa. Now Zuffa is sitting up here, they trying to change their way. I guess they trying to be somewhat of a chameleon. We still see that ass. I mean, that tail sticking out. You know what I'm saying? You can chameleonize all you want. We still see that ass poking out behind them bushes, man. What are y'all doing? Y'all ain't got shit on Pro Box. And now all of a sudden Zuffa is talking about they want to make fights without these guys can fight whoever they want because this kind of bin deal and all. I'm like, man, make up your goddamn. Do you want to work with a sanction? Like, oh, you thought the grass was greener on the other side. So Berlanga, I didn't give a fuck about Berlanga going over there, but I cared about Hitchens. I still care about Hitchens because that's my guy, man. I ain't gonna stop rocking with him. He's doing what he feel is best. He might have got blackballed after he announced his free agency with Eddie. They playing hardball. That Saudi money done dried up, and he ain't the most popular. He get treated like the red-headed stepchild. And I think Klaus Sean, Crash Out, Davis made it be known that you're not really part of the Wily Kid and Wily Cat. That's only Batman and Robin. We ain't got, you know what I'm saying, no room for Darkwing Duck. And I gotta say you a duck now because you really ducked Duarte. Now Duarte is coming out saying that since Richardson vacated his title, that he's now the champion. I'm like, hold on, bloodbath. Not yet. You still gonna have to fight somebody, cause just like when Devin moved up and dropped it, and Shakur fought for that vacant against De Los Santos, that anomaly of a fight. Yeah, you still got to do something like that, man. They can't just pop one around your waist, man. And then, for me, until you go and defend it with somebody, if they do that, a la Devin when he got that belt from Loma, he snatched Santiago over here from Puerto Rico when he was green, never fought in the States. Gave him the business for the first 3 rounds, and Devin turned up. Unless it's something like that and you stamp it like that, okay, cool. I respect Duarte because Duarte was looking serious, and Duarte has progressed. He, you know what I'm saying, he got the decision over Kenneth Sims. I wouldn't say it was a blowout, but it was a convincing win. He was looking strong. He looking like, man, he looking solid. I don't know, he looking like he's in stellar shape. So that the way Hitchens moved, that was a duck. And then you follow it up, and I said, man, I can only rock with you when I can rock with your moves. When I put you on the scale, just like I do everybody else, I can't be silent. I mean, I can't be. That'll be, contrary to my whole essence. And so now, you go over there and you do that. And by doing that, I already knew this was coming. So this is like, yeah, I could roast them some more. You know what I'm saying? We just going to put a little sauce on it and keep it pushing because we already knew this was going. You can't do both. You can't be over there and be their champion and be ours. And you definitely can't do that with the IBF, y'all. That is the housekeeping. AC. I know it was a bunch, man. And but
no, it's all gravy, bro.
Yeah,
So,
that's what it was, man. That's the housekeeping, though. What you got?
on Hitchin's situation, yeah, again, this is something we was cooking on, and this was a reality. You know, he knew he had to face. Um, to me, what Zoof is trying to do is pretty much pull a Clark Kent versus Superman. Just because you threw some glasses on, that don't mean I still don't know you Superman, nigga. Like, who the fuck are who are the people who work at the Daily Planet that they just can't tell? You know what I'm saying? So with that type of analogy, it's like, Hitchens, you said this from the get. Yeah, they made an offer to me, but I don't know about it because of you know, that Obadiah situation in the IBF. And you go over there and you sign to it. So at the end of the day, bro, you decide that's completely your decision. However that pans out, if it's something that works well for you, all right, you'll get the praise. If it's something that doesn't work out well for you, much like how we keep looking at and speaking on the Boots signing with Eddie and then re-signing with Eddie, like right now, yeah, it seems to have panned out, but there was that whole bit of time that's just like, what's going on with this dude? So, you know, good luck. That's all I have to say. If it's now, you just pretty much showed everybody that legacy and that type of stuff is on the back burner right now. I need to make money. And if that's what you're signaling, okay, fine. You need to make money. It is what it is. Moving on to Canelo. Yeah, it was 100% the fight for me when I was talking to people and people were trying to come up with this narrative. I just kept on asking. I said, okay, if this guy said he's too small, I'm not going to get any credit for fighting a guy that's, you know, pretty much he made his bones at 147 pounds. He's coming up 3 divisions to fight me. If I beat him, I get no credit. So if you making statements like that and rationalizing a fight like that, then by the time the fight gets made and someone asks what changed, the only thing that's relevant is how much money you were paid. You can't say at that point, well, I think it's going to be a great fight and this and that, because for years you were on this particular time. For the other guy, he said that, no, that's just too much weight. So for him rationalizing it and moving up there to challenge you, there's more meat on the bone for him. He's literally got a steak dinner. Meanwhile, you know, you're trying to find crumbs and a little bit of cream that's left on the little cardboard thing out of a Twinkie pack. So that's what you did to yourself. Now that you lost that fight, the relevant fights for you are like, okay, who does he fight next? How does Canelo Alvarez end his career? Are you going to give it to David Benavidez? Are you going to fight Morrell? What's it going to be? Going up to 75, I don't think you're really willing to do that to face that guy. For you to stay at 68, are there some names? Yeah, kind of. Will the fights be at the level that you want? Not unless the Turk come in and, you know, sprinkle some of that oil magic on it. No Diddy pun. So with that being said, it's like, okay, who's there for you? Right now, the biggest candidate at 168 is Hamza. After Hamza, it's like, who else is there? That's a big, that can create that, oh, that's Canelo Alvarez aura. So yeah, you being as well as you are, you should have had your maid start mopping those floors way the fuck over there. Being that you were sitting in your little reading chair reading, she done mopped you into that one little area. Now you got to track the floors up again. So, you know, it's just not a good look for you. And moving on to a Coley, bruh. The craziest thing for me was when you made the decision to move up to heavyweight. At cruiserweight, your body was like, doom, you was there. At heavyweight, you're kind of like the butt of the joke. So I don't understand why was the move to go up to heavyweight in the first place. Was it G.O.A.T? Was it Zerto? Like, who was there that you felt that you may not be at that level, or whatever the case may be, but it's easier for you to perform at heavyweight? And at heavyweight, you just look like weird. Like your body type and putting on all of that weight. Nah, bro. When I remember you from all the way back in the day, you know, when Dubois was just starting to come into his name, when Dubois was literally wearing, you know, coming in on the full Mike Tyson stuff. You and Dubois were the only two dudes that I knew as far as UK boxers that were like, who, AJ? Oh, that dude is trash. Like, nah, y'all, that AJ ain't what you think he is, man. Stop that. He a hype job. Stop that. You know what I'm saying? So I was, and then I, you know, when I'm hearing that big talk from you, I'm checking you out at cruiserweight, and you were doing your thing. Very impressive, stopping shit. You move up to heavyweight, and now you're like, you know, Buddy Hackett talking about a Duskin pudding pop. Like, bruh, nah, man, that's a bad look for you, my guy. And now that you pop dirty, in this situation, again, I'm gonna reserve my knee-jerk reaction. I'm just gonna keep it a buck though. If it's outside of, you know, the type of situation that because you're an athlete, because you're constantly, you know, looking to tap into your testosterone pool, you know what I'm saying, while you're working out and training, and you're being conscious of those levels and stuff like that. When it comes down to have kids and stuff like that, you may need a booster shot. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, if that's the case, all right, cool, bro. We get it. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody, you know, are you know, lining their joints with Teflon, armor piercing, you know, type bullets. You know, some dudes are shooting blanks. Some dudes, you know, are shooting 22s, but that's not what it takes to make a baby. So with that being said, it's like, I hope it's not like a banned substance type thing, because then that tells me 100% why did you make the move to heavyweight when there was a solid career for you, a path. Everyone was excited about you being at cruiserweight. We thought you were the next thing at cruiserweight. So I'm just gonna give it a little bit more time, see what these samples and stuff say, and see how that whole thing happens, because just like I didn't jump on the bandwagon, you know, and I just wanted to hear what happened with Matias. This could be somewhat of the same thing, you know. So let's just see how it plays out. Again, like I was saying before, I keep the same energy. If you pop dirty with a true banned substance, I got no love for you. Like, the fuck out of here, bro. That shit makes no sense. Why don't you fight where you supposed to be? Even if you came in at cruiser, let's say you really 175 pounder, then move your ass down to 75 and do your thing there. So that's where I'll just keep it. I don't want to get too deep into it, but I'll just leave it right there. We'll see how much sauce was put in the mixture.
Yeah, and since that's not really one of our guys, you know, I just know he's over there. He's formidable, but you know, we'll be sure to come back and follow up once, you know, we get more information afterwards. But yeah, I ain't gonna harp on that. It was just relative. But let's get into the meat and potatoes. Unless there's anything else, you got anything else?
No, I'm good on everything that I just dropped.
All right. So I wanted to do last week I was sitting around thinking about different fights and what's going on and everything, and I got to thinking about fights that, you know, where I saw people get hit, and it was like, because when I first seen that Tank Ryan fight, I was like, oh man, what the world is Ryan? I said, he in there goofing off. And then they slowed it down and they showed the replay. And I was like, oh snap. He hit him with a body shot. So I was like, okay, that's that phantom punch. So I want y'all to real quick, man. I want to give y'all a second real quick. I want to give y'all a second because I want this to be a good one. I'll give y'all a second. I want y'all to think of different fights. And I want you to go back and I want you to think about what they call the phantom punch. Like fights where somebody got hit and you really didn't see him get hit, and then they had to slow it down and they had to show it again. And he was like, oh shit, he did catch him. So I want y'all to take a moment. Think about that. Because it's a couple of them.
Yeah. I got a question for you, Body.
What's that?
Would you consider a perfectly timed and executed check hook as a phantom punch? And I bring it up for two reasons.
Go ahead.
No, the first reason is, was it with him and Ricky Hatton where they kept on asking him what kind of punch was that, and he was like, "That's a check hook. That's a check hook." When Floyd was talking about it,
yeah, he checked him into the right into the corner.
Yeah, and the other one would be to give Devin Haney some credit. Within the first round, the check hook that just stunned Brian Norman, because you kind of didn't see it, but Brian Norman was in the middle of doing his thing, and it just kind of like came out of nowhere, whop, and Brian Norman just froze there for a second. Then he went and did his thing. The second time he got caught with it, it was like, all right, he done caught me right with this shit, because my whole shit is just discombobulated. And then that led to the 1-2 and dropping him.
Yeah, that's a good one. And that was that's a good one. That was a good one because it didn't look like, even when he dropped, I said, oh shit, my eyes, I'm like, oh shit, maybe I couldn't believe that it happened, but that was a good little phantom. That was a good little phantom. But let me because yeah, you touched on something that's in the cooking. You know, you on it though, because it's really no such thing.
Yeah.
It's, you know, like the Ali versus Liston Phantom Punch frame by frame, like you actually seen it. Like what fans think, he didn't get hit, it was fake, it was no power behind it. But what actually happens is the punch lands too fast to see.
Yeah.
It's short, compact shots, the camera angle hides the impact, and sometimes it's a delayed reaction. Like with the Ali and Liston, and this is 1965. Timing and visibility. That's what it was. Tank versus Ryan. It was a body shot that made him, you know, take a knee. It was a delayed reaction. His nervous system shut down after the impact. The fighter reacted seconds later, and it looked like a fake fall, but it's a liver shot which had a delayed collapse. And it's, like AC said, short counters. Like them little short counters, it's invisible damage. Even when you be watching, you be like, damn, okay, now the announcer will call it, and you will see it like something happened, but it's so fast and it hit, and it ain't that much head movement or whatever, but it actually lands. The punch travels inches, not feet. No wind up, and it's harder to detect. And that actually is attributed to how Tank delivers and how Muhammad Ali. Like the best ones, when they say them untelegraphed punch, and that's why when Tank get up on you, you gotta be honest, because he can hook, he can uppercut, or he can jab, he can hit you with a 2. You know, he's so fast, but he can deliver it so quick without no wind up. It's a straight shot. With Shakur, precision over flash. So sometimes he's so precision, and it's based on timing, that he's so precision, and sometimes you don't see some of his punches landing. But what you should be looking for is like a head snap, or when they slow it down. And this is based on, like, a lot of these phantom punches come from timing, counter shots, off balance positioning, and accumulated damage. A phantom punch isn't magic, it's timing, precision, and damage your eyes can't keep up with. So it's really no phantom punch. That's what we call it. If you want to understand boxing at a high level, stop watching for big punches and start watching for the subtle ones.
Yeah, because the phantom ones, you don't like. For me, I hear it, whether it's the body shot or the head shot. I may not see it, but I heard it, and it was like, whoa, he caught him? I know I heard something, because you hear the thud or the slap. You know what I'm saying? It's even more prominent when you catch the guy coming in, or you punch with the dude. Yep. You're punching with him, and then you slip out, you catch him, boom, and it's all in the same move of creating that exit out as well. And you just got to go back and be like, wait a minute, hold up. Did he just catch this dude? Because you see the guy get caught, and then they take this weird, like, 2 steps, like they stuck on the balls of their feet. And sometimes if it's caught properly, much like the Ricky Hatton type of thing, the crowd hears it because the crowd sees the guy stunned. The one who delivered it, unless he's delivering it in that position to whereas he didn't create the full exit, he just wanted to pivot out and get you on one of the ropes, even though he was standing in the corner, he has the choice of pivoting out to have you on the left side of the ropes or the right side of the ropes. So for me, fighters that have that high level IQ, when they deliver it and they choose to pivot out or duck and shuffle out, and they're ducking and shuffling out but still watching you, and they see you fucked up, they'll stop and then launch that straight, and then get themselves switch over into like a into where they're moving laterally, and it just boom, 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 now all over you. A person who does that extremely, extremely well, and I gotta give him the utmost credit on it, because it's so amazing when he does it, is when Bam Rodriguez does that shit. Like, he's another dude that has that, well, we're calling it the Phantom Punch, can drop the Phantom Punch, slide right out, using an angle, and then be in position to let go another 3-4 punch combination. And you just look at this dude like, yeah, that's why they say you special, bro. Because you got control over your feet, your eyes are always on the target, and it's never like, oh shit, I caught him. Because you could see the guys who say, oh shit, I caught him, because they're moving and then it's an abrupt stop, and then they're kind of like off balance because they're trying to rush back in. And it's not all the time something to critique, because you're reacting to looking at, okay, I'm not going to admire my work, but I'm going to go after the finish. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's a beautiful thing when it's done right, and the timing of it. I've just seen it used in so many different situations that it's a true art. If you really, really want to discuss the sweet science of it, the Phantom Punch, aka the check hook, a well-timed hook, or just the ability to be a sharp, ferocious counterpuncher. Because those are the guys who master those Phantom Punches, those sharp counter punchers. Would you say this? The punch that dropped Teofimo Lopez versus George Kambosos, would you call that a Phantom shot?
Yeah, short. Yeah, but you could see, because of the angle, but yeah, it is by definition it would be.
Okay.
Just like the one that Bud caught Earl with, that short little bam, like in who was that recently? Was that Frank Martin? I mean not Frank Martin, Lamar Roach did it. He hit Tank a couple times with one of them little, you know, it was like that. It was like, damn, he actually connected with that shit. Like, you know, it's been happening. If you watch it, especially like a guy like Nair Albright, I'm thinking that's probably one of his little weapons too, because he be right there and it's like he ain't really moving, but when he time you and binging, you know what I'm saying, you like, dang, that shit did that damage, like, because it's within that first foot, that, you know, them couple inches when it's the most power.
Yeah,
you know, I think he got that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I give Shakur credit because he uses it to create that exit. You know what I'm saying? I don't really see it being used in this version of Shakur to where it's setting up a TKO run or something that puts a person in position to where he can get the stoppage and stuff like that. If you're a real tomato can, you might see glimpses of it, a la Shakur versus the Electrician. So other than that, it's just like, bro, you use it for an exit. You're not using it because you're really, really trying to do something, because he was letting that shit go. And he was letting it go not too much in a hook form, but just as a counter straight to stop T.O. from trying to come in. Although T.O. was giving it to him because you're coming in, you're trying to cross the threshold the same way every time. So Shakur was just like some of those times he caught him, it was just like, wow, that shit was impressive. You know what I'm saying? But it wasn't like you were doing it to, set something up to move into that second or third gear to be like, yeah, now I'm gonna dominate. Now I'm gonna finish this guy. Show you what this masterclass shit really looked like.
Yeah.
You could say Devin did the same thing versus Brian Norman. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
I'm thinking that knockdown that was like, and that joint was. That was definitely it, because he did. I guess he didn't. He couldn't guard against it. I guess he didn't expect it. He didn't see it coming, and it did happen quick. I was like, "Oh shit!" I was looking. I said, "Oh snap! What the hell?" I got to looking the side to side like it was two ghosts in here beside me. I was like, "What the hell? What? Oh my goodness!" And when he got up, I was like, "Wow, he living up to that Debo shit." So he got. That was one. It's been a bunch of them. There was a lot of little accounts for these that I was coming up with. I mean, that I had came across. But I think David, he does it. I think because for his size, he has exceptional hand speed and hand-eye coordination. And I'm wondering, is he gonna have more power when he go up there to Cruiser? Because he ain't really sucking down hardly. Well, he's still cutting something, but I'm wondering with him, like, could we see this with that Zerto fight? Because I mean, unless Zerto looked like a monument of a man, but the way Bivol handled him, I'm like, man, like, and that was just from a straight surgical, strategic way that Bivol boxed, maintaining that distance, maintaining his balance at all time, being defensively responsible, but high enough output that you got to respect it, overwhelming you. Could we see this with David and Zerto? A quick little pop, you know what I'm saying, where he catch him, and then that's the beginning of the end.
Yeah.
With Zerto. Because why you got that fight?
I got Benavidez stopping Zerto. I'm just like Zerto's a big guy. Zerto looks way more impressive at cruiserweight, but it just seems as though the more weight David Benavidez puts on, the more of a mean streak that's coming out of him. As a result of that may be in confidence, that I don't know what that is, but it's just the type of thing that just says, listen, unless you're going to beat me up and outbox me, you ain't fucking with me. And he just has that type of attitude and stuff like that just doesn't leave much room to say, for me to say, at least being one of his fans, that Zerto's gonna go the distance. But nobody thought Wilder and fucking Chisora was gonna go the distance, nor some of these other fights that just happened and stuff like that. So right now everything is telling me Benavidez for the stoppage. Sometime 8-9, between 7 and 9, or maybe 7 and 10. I think he's just like, he's gonna start out a little bit earlier, because I think Zerto's game plan is gonna be to try to press Benavidez early, much like Yard's game plan was. And I just don't think that's gonna work out, because the earlier you get this man engine running, it's like, bro, his idle is at like 10 RPMs, bro. This dude don't idle. So, you know what I'm saying? Your best bet is to just try to slow down the pace and keep him boxing. If you can't slow down the pace on David Benavidez, you're not going to beat David Benavidez. And Zerto's arsenal, his tool case, it's all right, but he ain't got no torque wrenches or anything that I really believe that he can make a difference in, you know, loosening one of David Benavidez screws. So that's where I'm just like, bro, I don't know how. Like, good fight, crazy fight. Zerto could come out and be super impressive, be a Zerto we never seen before, and give Benavidez the fight of his life. You know what I'm saying? So I got Benavidez winning, but you still got to win the fight.
Yeah, I think Zerto's best shot will have to be timing. You have to try to time him and just sit down on some shit a straight. You know, when David Benavidez get to throwing his hands and he's in motion and catching them like that. Otherwise, I think Benavidez is just too hungry. I heard his little interview, and he basically said, "Look, he said, I understand I'm moving up." He said, but he said, these guys are slow. He's like, I think my advantage is my speed. He said, I'm going to use it. He's like, I'm going to his chin and his body. I'm going to be trying to hit that chin and that body all night. You know, so he just hungry, and he know that it's right for the taking. The fact that they still begging for Canelo to fight somebody, give us a fight that, not according to Bodywork, don't shoot me. I said this back in 2022, but according to April 21st, 2026, what was that boxing news? The fact that they're still asking for a fight that we deserve from him, and you know, him edging up on Canelo's, you know, date, because Canelo kind of took it over after Floyd. And I think that he see that's his date. He's slowly trying to merge off in that lane, and he's hijacking it, and the resume is looking nice. The moves are always looking nice. He don't dodge no smoke. He's straightforward, and he's a monster. So I think that he's too hungry right now. And we could see, I mean, it is kind of weird seeing a man that much bigger than David. But I don't know, man. I think, you know, if that's Goliath, then he gonna slay the giant. And that's how I see that one.
Yeah. Like, David Benavidez is looking to solidify his legacy, everything. I mean, I give it to him in that vein, because I think he might have wasted a little bit too much time chasing the Canelo fight. You know what I'm saying? And his couple of other little setbacks and stuff like that. So where he is as a professional fighter right now, where he is as a prize fighter right now, that's a scary piece to have on the board. And if he's moving into your division or into your neighborhood, you know what I'm saying, then you got to strap up, you know, because he will be looking shots at you. So that's up to those guys up there. If they sleep on David Benavidez, if they want to, you know what I'm saying. But he's on his run. He's on his mission, and you got to give, for me as a fan, you got to give fighters like that their credit and their props. Looking at what they say they're gonna do, they're telling you, all right, I want to fight this guy, this guy, this guy, and you're actually making that shit happen. You know what I'm saying? And you're kicking ass and, you know, taking names. It's like, what do you want me to say negative about this guy? If your favorite fighter is Usyk, and he says he wants to fight Usyk next, then what do you have to say negative? Or he says he wants to fight Usyk within his next 3 fights. Yeah, I'm gonna do this guy, I'm gonna do this guy. Then, you know, if Obitaya grows some nuts, I want to fight Obitaya, then I'm looking at Usyk. So it's just like, wow. You give dudes credit when they're doing it. Whether they win the fights or not, sometimes that shit don't matter. To me, what mattered most is the fact that you're running towards that smoke. You're actually doing something. This is why I'm a huge fan of Fabio Ward. He's doing shit. He's saying X, Y, and Z, and he's doing X, Y, and Z. And he's telling people like, look at my path. No easy fights. Pretty much the fights that got me here, you dudes said I wasn't supposed to win. Everybody was betting against me. Oh, he started boxing too late. Oh, this, oh, that. So when it comes down to guys and them making their run, I support them. You know, I was ready to support Devin Haney on his run. I was ready to, try to see if I could find the support to go on a good run with Shakur and Keyshawn. You know what I'm saying? But their run was meh. It wasn't even a run. They just took a step, but told you they was going to run a marathon. But you dude just took one step and said, woo, yeah, that marathon I just ran, that shit was hard. So I'm going to take a break and y'all just got to give me the break. Y'all just got to let me do what I want to do now. Like, what? You didn't do nothing. You took one step. That shit ain't a marathon. We're looking at people like Morataya now to just come up and start his run. We're looking for Abdullah Mason to start his run. They all took the first step, crossed that line. Now we got to look at your run. Abdullah's run to his belt was fights that we could get behind, knowing that they were moving him. But now that you got the belt, now we want to see what your run really looks like. Brian Norman, if he would have got past Devin Haney, we wanted to see what his run of legacy was going to look like. What are your next three or four fights going to be? And I guess that's what I'm meaning when I say your run. You take on a series of fights, whether it's 4 fights, whether it's 5 or 6 fights, and these are like back to back to back to back, the type of opponents that your fans want to see you go up against. The tough motherfuckers, whether you moving up or you're facing the guys that are there right now. So, you got to respect it. Errol Spence run was masterful. Charlo's run, masterful. You know what I'm saying? Bud's run, moving up through the divisions, masterful. So, yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's just like when everybody go on their run, it is what it is. And when you could fold some of that shit in with some of the stuff that we talking about right now today, with solid performance, technical things that make people say, God damn.
Yeah,
Tank
like this guy. I think this guy right here, you could say he kind of going on a run. So we saw this, man. If you do anything like that to this guy, man,
yeah,
And if Shakur don't say anything but let's fight after that, then we already know what it is. We already declared what it was. But I think this guy right here is going on a run, man. Would you say he's beginning his run?
Yeah, I would say that. I would say, for me, I think his run started, with the initial Conceição fight. Because if we go back and we listen to him, he had like a string of people he wanted to fight. You know what I'm saying? He was talking about the Navarretes, the Nick Balls, and all of these guys going into that first Conceição fight. He was derailed, pickpocketed. Then he had to reset, come back, get back with Conceição. Now, he was like, yeah, I want to do this thing with Shakur, but don't get it twisted. I still want Jazzy Dickinson. I want Figueroa. I want all of these guys. So I got definite work to do at 130 if these guys don't, want to do don't want to fight me at 135. I got plenty of smoke I could deal with at 130. And when you have that attitude, you're automatically signaling, at least to me, that I'm already involved in my run. Whether you realize it or not, I'm already involved in it. That shit happened with Conceição. Now look at what I did after Conceição. I take out Fulton. Now I'm looking to take out Stephen. Now I'm looking to take out Raymond Ford. So,
yeah.
woo!
I just seen something from Ray talking about he don't think Oshaki really had anybody to fight. I was like, huh? He got a belt, cuz he got the WBC in that division. If he offered anybody, he could have called anybody up there in the top 10 and gave him a shot. So what are you talking about? And then they asked him, well, what was the beef? Where it started? And it was this long 3-second pause. He was like, not really beef. I'm like, yeah, all this was fabricated. You got drugged into some stuff. You got caught poking your nose in somebody else's business or whatever, and now it's on. And he to get to the big dog, then he got to smash the little pup, and that's all it is. It's his business, you know. You in the way. That's the way I see it. But I'm, we not that far away from that fight, and I like it. These two, they did what you said. They took a step. They didn't, we was like, man, they about to make the run, but they took a step and they threw all this linguine up, and people are just now, like this week, last week, they just now saying, oh man, like I see and hear people talking about Devin, and I heard one of the wildest things that Xander didn't want to fight Devin. Like he would fight Boots, but he wouldn't fight Devin. Like that just don't make no sense at all to me. But people are just now coming around, and they are giving Keyshawn credit for having the Nair Albright on the books. But like for all that linguine, all this pasta, you come back with Nair Albright. But salute to Nair because he earned it. He earned another payday. So hopefully, he can make this interesting. And Keyshawn talking about stopping him. I'm like, yeah, but what does that really do for you? Like you come back, I guess for your family, yeah. I guess that get back, you get that for the fam. But as far as boxing, it was like, and I heard, so people don't try to barbecue or persecute me, put a scarlet letter on me. Tito, he said that was a step back fight. He's not the only one. There's been a couple people saying this is a step back. He's like, you don't go for Jermaine Ortiz, even though Jermaine Ortiz can't be considered a world beater. He's more than formidable, and he did get a bad nod with Tio, in my opinion. Some people say that with the Loma fight, I kind of had Loma winning that one, but like he is a good guy, more than formidable opponent. He's a technician, not all the power in the world, but you don't go from that to Nair Albright. No disrespect to Nair, but it's just, by the numbers, he shared the ring with Nair Albright. Jermaine Ortiz had already shared the ring with Nair Albright. Jermaine Ortiz shared the ring with Loma, shared the ring with Tio, arguably beat him. So you don't go from that to a guy like Nair Albright just because he beat your brother, and you threw all this linguine up. And as the A side, that's all you can come up with. So some people are pointing that out now. I mean, I'm not kicking and screaming in a bad way about the fight. I actually kind of like it now. I'm just like, I told y'all about this link. So when people be saying I be hating on Keyshawn, Clout Sean, Crash Out Davis, I really don't be hating. I just be calling it right down the middle and just in his age, like this age better than anything I've ever said about Canelo. This me calling like how I see Keyshawn, that shit age like what you call the A5 Wagyu.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, but we did a good fight in it. I'm not complaining about it. We got a couple good fights. Has anything been on the like on the radar? Anything you've been seeing that you might want to talk about before we wrap up?
Nothing really yet. Just I'm looking forward to some of these fights that are already being made, getting getting closer, looking at the first pressers and stuff like that, because then there's gonna be so much meat on the bone. Like, I would be interested if I was gonna be interested in something. I would want to see what that first Oshaki and Ray Ford presser is going to be about, and Keyshawn versus Albright first presser is going to be about, because I'm in this camp with this fight. I don't have a real issue with the fight. Do I think that he did enough to warrant a rematch to where it's going to make me wanna watch it? I think in the original fight, yeah, he did give Keyshawn some problems in certain areas and stuff like that. But for Keyshawn, to my biggest caveat is this: all right, you beat him in a close fight. He beat your brother in a non-close fight. What do you gain out of beating him again if you should beat him? And then what if you do beat him again, but it's even closer than it was the first time? Because there's something different about Albright. And I think Albright, if we were impressed with Albright versus Frank Martin, I think we're going to be super impressed with Albright versus Keyshawn Davis. And I still got Keyshawn winning, but I believe Albright is going to expose you in ways that people are going to, your stock may take a hit. But as long as you stay in the friends and family, you're probably going to have the usual suspects probably try to come out and help you out, depending on whether or not they feel that they want to distance themselves from you. And that would be Clarissa Shields. That would be, Andre Ward. I seriously doubt Bud is going to speak anything to it, because it's like, you tried to shit on my gym. So either way, I'm just going to say, well, it was an impressive victory or not, and just leave it alone at that. Don't ask me to break shit down, because this dude just tried to shit on my gym. So that's kind of how I see it. Keyshawn will need an impressive victory so he won't be relegated to an island off on the side. Because I got this funny feeling that if he doesn't have an impressive victory, you're going to start to even see Shakur distance himself.
Could this be Creed 4?
Yeah, I'm kind of seeing it that way, because things are a certain way, but within the dynamic of their structure, and I'm talking about the structure between Jay Prizzy representing all three of these dudes, and that's Keyshawn, Shakur, and Mason. You feel what I'm saying? When you kind of look at it, for Jay Prince, Mason is your Beyonce. The other two, yeah, you got a little name, you doing your thing, you got a little sound with you, you got some fan bases with you and stuff like that. But word on the streets, and every time you get a little, you drop a little bars, or you, even if you do a little hook, bro, everybody biting. Everybody trying to, listen to it. So we might be seeing some stuff on the low start to materialize and things like that. And I believe if Jay Prince is smart, he's gonna always, he's gonna let Shakur and Keyshawn do their thing. But Mason, he's gonna keep Mason over here. You know what I'm saying? I don't want that bullshit to taint you. So I'm keeping you over here because you're the real pot of gold.
Hey, that's bars. We might be onto something. We gotta pay attention to that. D Calico, salute. What's going on?
What's going on, brothers?
What's happening?
And I know if Keyshawn Davis had mental issues after Kelvin got his ass whooped, then we in for that same shit, but maybe even worse after Albright whoops Keyshawn ass. You know? Because number one, I hope he come in there with that tough ass attitude that he brought to what's the Spanish guy's name? Like, I done erased him out of boxing. I don't even remember him no more.
No, Jermaine Ortiz.
Jermaine Ortiz. Thank you, brother.
Oh.
Yeah, I've erased him out of my memory. My memory bank, he don't serve my memory bank. You know, he don't serve my memory very well. Right? So he's a has-been already. I want him to go in there on Albright the exact same way. He's more skilled, so it will look so easy and good for a while until it just don't. One thing about Albright, you know, if you ask me, he figures his opponents out. You know, he downloads information, and he's a finisher. So he don't download information necessarily win round per round, but he downloads enough information to strike like a viper when he sees that opportune time. This guy he's hurt everybody he's ever been in the ring with. Even though he got a couple losses, you know. One was the Keyshawn Davis, you know. But he hurt Keyshawn Davis. You feel me? And that was only a 10-rounder. The guy's never been in a 12-round fight, and he's hurting people. Give him 12 rounds, man. He gonna put somebody down. I think the guy got some Crawford in him because he just mean as hell in the most clutch situation. When it's clutch time, Albright will look like a completely different fight. I don't give a damn if he was losing 8 rounds straight. Watch the championship rounds. If he was like that every round, then he'd be top 5. But he's just that nigga in the championship rounds. And I only know niggas like Terrence Crawford that really get down like that. Like when you tell him, man, your daughter waiting on you, man. You got to win this fight. It do something to him, bro. Like a Wilder, like a Crawford, you know, like the Tank Davises of the world. He's not a Tank Davis, but he got the spirit of an animal, man, at the right times. So I think he could upset this guy. And we talking about this way worse than if Shakur ever lose, we know he gonna cry. That ain't nothing. You know, okay, he cried. This nigga here, he gonna blow his top. You feel me? And he not losing to a top guy. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a huge fallout. He ain't gonna be fucking with Shakur or nobody after he lose, bro. After he lose, he gonna want to take everybody down. Whoop Shakur Stevenson. That's why he won't fight. That nigga turned his back on me after I lost to Albright. Fuck all these niggas. The only motherfucker stuck with me was Ryan Garcia and Teofimo Lopez. And I'm just saying, hey, you know, he might pull that stunt again. So I'm just letting y'all know ahead of time. You know, I'm just trying to be the boxing prophet, man. You know how I go.
Well, he definitely gonna crash. You know, can Albright pull it off? Yeah, it's in the realm of possibility. It definitely is, and you giving this guy a second bite at the apple.
12 rounds.
And why are they making it 12?
It should be. They should. I don't want to see guys of that caliber in a 10-round fight. You know, like we know the best of the best if they want to be. They need those extra 2 rounds.
I just wondering if That's what it's going to be, or you don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely, yeah. For one, it involves Keyshawn Davis. He's not in no more 10 rounders, so it's a step up fight for Albright. Basically, it's his first 12-round fight.
Yeah, I was thinking the other day, because I was saying, when these guys they pick, choose, and refuse for so long, when they do all this like maneuvering, they run into something, and I'm like, so you thinking this is a banana peel? I was thinking about banana peels the other day, like is this gonna be a banana peel? Because like AC said, unless you go out there and you stop this guy, then you can't. It's like, I don't know. It'll make, I don't know. It's like fighting that fight again. It's probably the same reason why Shakur didn't want to fight De Los Santos again, because unless you like utterly damage or knock him out, like it's not gonna do nothing for your stock, because Nair Albright gonna make it look bad unless Keyshawn really gonna show us that he really won and was. Now he going in and hit this man in the head with a dumbbell and knock him out like in about a third round. I'm like, okay, all right, case closed. I want to see what's next, but me,
like if the ref really help him, he could get an early knockdown and that could be a stoppage. But I can see right now I wouldn't agree with it, because I know how the referees operate. They would just be looking for that opportunity to call this fight off. Yes, hey, it's over. But Albright ain't going, man. Like Albright, one of them as far as for his family type of nigga. Like even if he didn't have the skills, because his skills is like a C+, but his heart is an A+. You feel me? And his power carries late. He's dangerous for anybody. You know what I'm saying? Anybody who power carries late and they're not, they have some skills. Oh yeah, that person only gets better as the fight goes along. As you slow down, they don't. He's still Albright. You looking like Kelvin in the 12. Like, yeah, it ain't gonna work. Like this guy pressure, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. So I just hope, it'd be a real barn burner.
Yeah, I hope because I wanted to see Nair with a full camp, with a good paycheck and a full camp. I wanted to see. He hasn't had a full camp yet, so could be a banana peel now.
Like what would a win do for his career?
Oh man,
versus
Keyshawn at this point in time,
I want to hear both of y'all take on.
At this point in time,
yeah,
I mean it probably definitely set up, fight number 3, so it's gonna be a trilogy. Of course.
Wow. I ain't even think about that. You're right though. You're right. I see that first and foremost.
Yeah, and maybe he don't go do that. Like if he win, I wouldn't go do that right away. I would go
only in Philadelphia.
But I would do it. No, I would do the game, because if these guys are playing this game, I would do the same. I would do it because think about
build it up.
I was all right. You go have another fight. You build yourself. Like if Nair do it and it's like, oh, okay, damn, he actually pulled that shit off like convincingly. Yeah, I would say, yeah, go ahead. You go get busy with somebody. I'm gonna go get busy with somebody, and then we'll come back, and do it, because the game is going to chew him up now. Because if Keyshawn going in and go upside his head with a dumbbell, it's going to be hard for a guy like that to get like some fights, because it's a tough out. It's going to probably make you look ugly. It's like fighting Pitbull Cruz for nothing. Like, I mean, unless it's just a big bag, you're not going to look that good. So unless you one of them ones. But what have you heard any thing about the that was Wiley Cat? What about Wiley Kid? What's going on with Shakur? What is he doing? He's doing some linguini. He's still out here in that linguini.
Man, if you ask me, I've been saying it, since Crawford retired. It seemed like Crawford passed the torch to him. Like he's the new Terrence Crawford. Even though I feel like Keyshawn has a more Crawford-esque style, but he's not accomplished enough or dedicated enough. So Shakur is the new leader, right? And making him the new Terrence Crawford means we won't see very much of him. That means this is gonna be a once a year, once every 8 months maximum type of guy. You know, and I don't like the bourgeoisie, the bourgeoisiness. You feel me? Like I'm like AC, like I want to see him run through some motherfuckers, like for
Okay,
real.
so that lead me to this because you wasn't here earlier, but this guy right here, one Ray saying he gonna stop O'Shaquie, and he also said O'Shaquie ain't have no choice, like he really ain't have no options. Like, what is this like? Like, would this be the setup? Like, because if O'Shaquie pulled this off and he spanked Ray, like I think he is, then that's gonna put all eyes on me for one Shakur.
I mean, Shakur put his foot in his mouth, and it's probably the worst thing he could have did. And he did it for so long to the point we all can see the holes in what he said. When he first said years ago, when they got in an argument, he was like, man, go fight my boy Ford if you want to fight me. He said it's like at least 2 years ago, right? And that seemed very reasonable at that time. But after that performance, that last performance by O'Shaquie versus Stephen Fulton, a guy with a similar build to Ray Ford, maybe not as much power, maybe not as mean, but more knowledgeable of boxing, more technically sound. A guy that probably could have found a way to beat a Nick Ball, Stephen Fulton. Well, he made Stephen Fulton look like he can't even spar with that man. Huh? He looked like it ain't nothing in the world he can do with him in the ring, bro. Get the man, unless you wrestling, unless we switch up something, it gotta be kicked, it gotta be something different, bro. Don't look like you belong in a ring versus O'Shaquie. So Ray Ford, you next. Nigga, your ass is great, and that's gonna make Shakur, like, when he duck, it's gonna make him look like a bitch. And I've been seeing the bitch, because I know he ain't gonna fight this man. He ain't finna fight O'Shaquie. Never. And if he do, he gonna try to wait to that man by 38 years old.
Damn.
Because he already 32. So yeah, he gonna wait him out. He never gonna fight him. O'Shaquie would just have to really become one of them without Shakur, like Shakur did without Tank. That's the only way possible. This man don't want no smoke with this guy. This guy got the goods.
I'm a rock with you on that one right there, Calico, because just bringing up some of the things he said on that Showbiz interview that just makes you look like, what? You've been the one saying this. Your fans been the one saying this. Ward been saying this. Clarissa Shield been saying this about you. And now you asking a question. Why do you have to fight everybody from 35 to 47? Because you said from everybody from 130 to 47, you can beat. You said that. So for me, again, I'm just trying to look at the future dynamic in saying this, right? You hang out at 140, or you gonna, build a home at 140, a forever home, but not really fight anybody tough at 140. You want to jump to 47. You want to mess around at 35. You want to mess around in some catch weights and stuff like that. Y'all keep messing around before you two dudes know it. Mason is gonna be at 140. You know what I'm saying? And when Mason is at 140, y'all put Jay Prince in a pickle to say, all right, I can't have these 3 stars all at the same weight class, and only one of them want to fight each other. Only one really wants to smoke. So where do I put my time and investment in? So I talk about the guy that I've been coddling every time one of his training wheels get bent up too far because he's been leaning over on that one side way too much, I get him a whole new training wheel, but make sure the material is a lot harder so he's not leaning over as much. You know what I'm saying? So how long can you protect him? How long can you, protect Keyshawn? Because Keyshawn is, you got to give Calico some props on this, because this is what everybody's going to be thinking. What is Keyshawn going to do if Albright beats him? And even if it's a close fight, Keyshawn felt he won. Like, what is the level of crash out that's going to happen? Will Shakur be able to talk to that dude? Will he be able to talk that man down? Will his brothers be able to talk that man down? Because right now, everybody's like giving you the free pass because you said you found God. But in the business world, in the performance world, these are real life questions that could be asked. I mean, you could easily go in there and, like Body's saying, surprise us all and just smack Albright to sleep this time, because there's no unfamiliarity. But this time around, Albright gets a full camp. So there's some dynamic there that almost makes the fight seem like, hey, wait a minute. You won the first one, but there were some caveats about it. Here's the second one. So now it seems to be, right now we're getting that Keyshawn versus Albright fair fight right now.
Yeah.
So get to see it under fair circumstances. Hey, listen, hey, the shit may not go as well as many of us who are thinking Keyshawn's gonna win. This fight may not look nothing like that. You know what I'm saying?
Only thing is we gotta figure out if not here. Hopefully he ain't go over to Jay Prince's house, so let Jay Prince come over to his house.
Oh, word! Like, you ain't going over that man house with no drinks.
We thought T.O. was gonna stand on business, and then he come out talk about he took a dive, man. But this is what I want to say to y'all, man. I'm gonna say that there should be some charges brought up for indecent exposure on the part of Wally Kit, because I think I said this before. I'm not sure which live it was, but we were asking, we were saying, man, I don't think he really gonna go back down to 35. He's gonna stay at 40, but he was set on saying, I'm going back down to 35. Well, when Oshaki did that thing and they gave him that interim, Shakur was like, I'm not fighting you. I'm not even fighting him or whatever. And they started looking like left and right. They started saying like all this crazy stuff. Like they started talking about Ryan. It was just some talked about Devin that resurfaced here recently. Everybody but anybody at 40 that's relevant, like Gary Antoine Russell, or him taking Oshaki up on that offer, like the fees being, the 120 being paid, your title back, fighting in your backyard, because Ford and Oshaki, he's fighting him in his backyard. Oshaki gonna turn up on his ass at home. But after that, everybody glazed over, act like it never happened. Like they refuse. I have not seen any other channel talk about that blatant duck, right? So it calmed down. The Ryan thing went away because Ryan got talked, David Benavidez talked to Ryan and was like, look, man, I wouldn't do that shit if he's one of them guys, tell him move up, you know what I'm saying, get his ass whooped that way. But nah, I don't meet him at no catch weight. So Ryan was like, yeah, I'll fight you, but I'm not doing a catch weight. I was like, well, I'm proud of you. Give yourself a pat on the back, Ryan, for having some kahunas, right? Now, the conversation had flipped over to Shakur going back to 35 for more tire. One, that's a big ass banana peel. Big, huge, humongous banana peel. Robert Garcia called him out and say, listen, man, we got a fight lined up. Shakur like, how you got a fight lined up and I'm talking about fighting you. Like a motherfucker can't have a fight lined up waiting on you. Like I wish I would not line up some shit waiting on you to fight me. Fuck out my face. But he's saying, well, listen, after that, and before the end of the year, we'll fight you at, he said, Robert Garcia said, we'll fight you at 35, which would be for the IBF, because Shakur said it'll be interesting because it got the IBF in the ring belt. So that makes it interesting. So he said, we'll fight you at 35. He said, we'll come up to 40 and fight you for yours, or that catchweight at 144, we'll fight you with that. That's the other guy. So Oshaki did it. Robert Garcia and them and Raymond Montoya did it. And for him entertaining that after Oshaki had already landed and got all of this Ray Ford up, that is a blatant duck, bro. Because now it's like, oh, the coast is clear. He tied up in the fight. Let me go back down to 35. That is indecent exposure. There should be charges on Wiley Kid, a.k.a. Batman, since Keyshawn is robbed. So nobody's talking about this. Like, this man is ducking in plain sight. It ain't Halloween and he's dressed up like Howard the Duck. I don't know, man. Like, it's only a matter of time, but what's going to happen is Tito Mercado is on their asses. So if Keyshawn loses, Tito Mercado going to be on that ass. And he ain't going, and even if it's one of them things where he try to say, I'm going to 47, Tito Mercado is going to be on that ass. It might be one, it might turn out to be one of them David Benavidez, David Morrell was chasing after David Benavidez, or calling him out and saying, I want it. And David Benavidez, being the guy he is, finally said, okay, shut the fuck up and let's fight. It might turn out like that, but I doubt it. Because it's a reason why they won't say Tito's name. And these guys, they can only put this shit off for so long that they're going to have to go against their banana peel, or somebody that they didn't have no intention on fighting, and they don't have no run because that Saudi money is evaporated for them. That's why Keyshawn, think about it. Why is Keyshawn fighting out here? What happened to you was the ambassador, but that's all as the ambassador for old turkey bag sugar daddy Sheik. That's all you can get is Nair Albright. My own leftovers. It's about to get interesting, man. So I'm just sitting around like a Komodo dragon that nip somebody. I'm just following around, waiting for them to finally collapse. I'm just letting their temperature rise and let them get sick and lethargic, and I'm just sitting around licking my chops. What's up, Tyler?
That's definitely how they operate. You feel me? Like, to me, the biggest example is Fundora, but people ain't noticing it. Like, that's why, all honors to Xander Zayas. You feel me? And I like how he pointed it out, how Fundora and his opponents, like, he don't want no smoke with no young fighters. You feel me? Like Xander said, he been wanting to fight, but this guy, turned his fight down when he thought it was supposed to be him versus Fundora. Fundora pulled out and fought Tim Tszyu. He's going after the old guys. He want the Errol Spencers of the world, Keith Thurmans. You feel me? Like, he ain't talking about nobody of his generation. It's kind of scary. It ought to be telling. But I guess he's trying to build up this repertoire like a monster. It's very I wouldn't say surgical, but it's methodical. Like it's very well thought out. Because they're not gonna move this guy that they've seen drop by a guy like Mendoza. They're not just gonna move him like he can beat up the world. You feel me? They're moving him very slowly. They still got the training wheels on this guy, honestly. So shout out to Xander Zayas. Like, I already was calling him the Puerto Rican Devin Haney, but now I was already calling him the Puerto Rican Devin Haney, but now he really doing the Devin Haney by fighting such caliber opponents. Like, and he already, unified champ. Like, he would be like an Errol Spence in my eyes already. From being unified and fighting a guy like Boots, if you win, if you pull this shot and move on, man, you got to be the favorite in every fight. Nobody can ever doubt you ever again. You know what I'm saying? And man, I urge. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure my brother Body, so I'm a little short as far as just clipping that second fight of Karen versus Boots. Man, I urge people to go watch it. And if you don't do nothing else, I'm gonna make it easy for you. Just watch the first round. Karen ain't played. We never seen Boots damn near touched. His glove damn near touched the ground. He damn near got put on his pockets. You feel me? By Karen Chickerzon in that second fight. So don't be surprised, man. You feel me? Like, all that flashy stuff will get you put on your pockets, man. And it might just happen. You feel me? Unless Boots is prepared. Because I don't think he thought Karen would even come forward. Karen brought that thunder on his ass. So maybe if he slip on Xander can even bring the thunder, is what I'm saying.
Let me ask you something, Calico, because I heard it might be a double standard, but I heard this. Somebody on the boxing list, they loaded it short, and it said that if Boots beats Xander, then he'll be the best fighter in the world. Is that true?
No. No. Now, if he obliterates him, we could start the rumors. If he obliterates the likes of Xander Zayas, hell yeah, we can start to think that. But he ain't did nothing for us to think that other than, not even the eye test, man. Eye tests don't go that far. You don't go that far with eye test. Not. If I want to say he the most talented, it's possible.
But they say he the best at 154. I mean, I don't.
Yeah, they just talking about skills, man.
That's what I'm saying. I don't get. I'm not getting into it. I'm maintaining my blood pressure. So I'm just like, hey, man, this could be a banana, man. This could be. This is closer than what this is. This is very close to 50-50 just because of the stat that I keep bringing up. Like that guy that you talk about. These stats right here, man. It's when you're dealing with a mover that got balance and that can punch, and that's used to punching on the move. It's a different ball game. It's the same thing we were saying with T.O. Whereas, unless he fixed them windshield wipers, we don't know. And I mean, he didn't do nothing. Like, he just sat there and ran into Shakur's jab all night. He didn't really do nothing. But until I've been asking this question whenever this fight come up and I'm comfortable to talk about this fight, then I ask, who has he faced that made him have to cut off the ring since then to see that this is a fixed thing. Now I hold on. One last thing, Calico. Now I can argue that Fundora ain't the same as Mendoza. I can argue that he's evolved some since that Mendoza, and we've seen people that had that same style as Mendoza trying to do what they do. And he's shown us that against that kind of opponent that was able to knock him out. Oh yeah, he ain't gonna do that. I'm gonna fight behind the jab. In this case, where Boots had that trouble with Karen because he was a mover in the first fight and then he switched it up in the second fight, we still have not seen him revisit, because if Karen would have did that moving style again, but then sat down and fought, fought when he wanted to, we might be talking about something different. He didn't do that. So we have not seen Boots fight another guy that can move like that and punch on the move. And this will be the first time.
Hey, you definitely hit on the air. Because if Karen was a video game that night, that would have been my game plan, what you just said. And he could have won with such a game plan. Or at least just upset the odds a little bit, like some kind of a split decision. One of the judges would have seen what Karen was doing. Because a lot of judges, they go based off, okay, he looks great on the inside. I feel like he's always winning on the inside. And if this fighter doesn't go back on the inside, they feel like he's not winning. they got to be able to notice that this fighter's still edging it out, possibly on the outside. You feel me? They just give it to the other guy sometimes. They're like, well, that guy's just he's been winning on the outside. Well, maybe he didn't win this round on the outside just because the other fighter didn't get inside. You know, but you know, basically it's just like the Tank effect. Like if Tank don't knock you out, you know, like if he don't put you on your pockets, then he probably gonna lose. The judges are ready. They look at every round like, oh, he lost that round. He lost that round. He lost that round. They waiting for him not to knock somebody. If he don't knock him out, he's facing an L. You know?
Well,
So-
I'm gonna say this. It's a double standard in this fight because if Xander beats Boots, oh man, they're gonna say he the best fighter in the world for real. But because of everybody ripping the equity out of this fight and saying that Xander ain't shit and this and that, and he don't deserve to be in the ring and all that, it's like if Boots beat him, it's like, okay, well, what next? That's just gonna be it, because the way they going into this fight, they saying Xander ain't this. Like Xander has evolved too. I'm still not the biggest Xander fan, but I admire his evolution. He's evolved too because I thought it was dangerous for him to fight Virgil. But then when I seen that move and stuff, I said, oh, Xander can, like, he's really adapting it, because I thought that dude Chino Perez was going to do something, you know what I'm saying, nasty to him. But he boxed his way out of it. Like that style, like if you don't know how to deal with it and cut that ring off and corral him, you know what I'm saying, and you know what I'm saying, and go to that body early, because Boots learned that in the first fight with Karan. He was like, man, I should have went to the body earlier. It's like, yeah, you should have, but when you do, there is a risk, especially when somebody's fresh, because there's a technique to go to the body. So I'm gonna land right here. The way they talk about Xander going to this fight, how he ain't nothing, don't be mad at the critics when they say, all right, you did what you supposed to do. You unified now. You 2-division unified champ. Kudos. They're going to turn right around and say, all right, forget about all that. What's next? If Xander beats Boots because of the way they're talking about Xander, he's going to, the writing, he who controls the printed page, they're going to paint this man like he the best man, the best thing since sliced bread. You heard it here. You heard it here at Bodywork. Mark my words.
And you know Tiger Johnson is sparring against Xander, you know, I guess, you know, in preparation for the Boots. And I would hope that Xander knows that Tiger is being a double agent, you know, but at the same time, he's not fighting 154-pound Xander, even though that's bigger than Tiger's normal weight. He's fighting he's sparring a considerably bigger Xander, and Xander probably putting it on his ass, right? He probably putting it on Tiger so bad, I don't know what Tiger gonna be able to go back and tell. You feel me? Because he might be a little less when it comes to losing weight, but right now he's just considerably bigger than a Tiger Johnson. So if they send him over there to to spy, I mean, I'm sure he'll be able to tell what he saw, but he's not gonna be able to say what he did. Like his skills, he all right though, you know, but it's not gonna. Everybody know he's not on Boots level, and I would definitely argue that he's not on Xander's level.
I don't know what the southpaw that's that size with that punch variety that you can bring in for sparring.
Yeah,
maybe you can do some. Maybe you can, you know, bring in somebody that's fast, bring in somebody that, you know, accurate from the body, bring somebody in that's long, and just, you know, kind of work on speed, work on your timing to get certain things. You can kind of work on those, but I don't know who you will get to spell.
Like how much would a Crawford cost?
Crawford probably wouldn't do well unless. Well, I think they showed him. Well, no, with the Andre Ward, they showed some. Well, I thought they showed somebody. I don't know, but I don't know if Bud to do that.
And that's Roy Jones' fighter, so I'm pretty sure Roy Jones can make that happen.
I don't know. I think Bud might. I mean, unless he got some agenda, he do that when he got an agenda. Like I'm pretty sure when if and when, you know what I'm saying, like if the boxing gods give us Tank versus Shakur, you know Bud gonna be in there sparring Shakur every day and shit, you know what I'm saying? So
but that could be, you know, that could backfire, you know? Because, you know, he always say how, oh, Bud be kicking my ass and sparring. Like even his last times, like the last time they sparred before the T.O. match, how he was over there just mad as hell. And Bud was laughing to the camera like, yeah, I just had to beat his ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, and Shakur was just mad as fuck. Like, he gonna take it out on somebody, you know? But I don't know. I don't know how much of that'll be, you know, useful.
You know, this off the wall a little bit, just a little bit. But I got a theory, man. I kind of think that Tank fucked up Sean Porter before that
Thank you. Bro, I swear I've said that years ago. I said that already. But for you to say that, I know you ain't heard me say it. You just being honest. You feel me? Yeah. And that's why Tank even bragged when Sean Porter had the nerve to talk shit about it. He was like, I know you ain't talking the way I was fucking you up in sparring.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, damn.
Because Sean turned. Sean, he admitted it, and then it was like all these things come up. It was like Sean kept giving all these takes, and he was just hating on Tank. I said, hold on, what happened? I said, I know you invited him in for sparring and all that, but I'm like, and you came out and said what it was. Like they said it, but didn't say it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it was great work. Like you know when you look at the body language, listen to what was said, and you know what was going on. We all know what happened in that sparring. But then after that, Sean went on this tear where he wouldn't say nothing good about Tank. And I'm like, man, you acting like a scorn lover or something. And I let it go. But I always thought that. I said, man, I think Tank fucked this man up. That's why when Tank said Bud had that glass shield and all that, I was like, yeah, do it. Be great. I wanted that. So I was like, man, I'm getting bored because I'm like, you know, Bud probably, you know, he might play a little defense and use his range. I'm like, but if Gamboa touched you like that, if Tank would have ever touched you like that at that time, like, yeah. Bro. Like, yeah, I was one of the delusional ones saying, yeah, do it, Tank, do it. Because I wasn't there to be great one time, but.
Like, I don't think nobody in boxing could beat Tank with that style. That Sean Porter, Mexican, come forward, you know, rush you. Kid Austin style, that just can't work with a Tank Davis. That man is a Mack truck, bro. I'm talking about, like the man got, it's definitely some soul in there. Like people don't realize, you can't see the magnitude of the soul. Mm-hmm. We looking at the physical, and we think that's it. Nah, ain't no little ass man hitting you like that, bro. That's the soul of that man. That'll knock the soul out of you. That man will separate you from consciousness, man.
Yeah, he might make you go blind, you know, because he's been working on it. And when you that small and you so used to getting them up, you got that get up off me or shit, I got that, you know, and you've been perfecting that shit, that speed, that timing, that accuracy, and that's what he don't get credit for. That pinpoint accuracy. Because he said, like, even on my intro, he's like, man, people act like I just go in there and, you know, just get the knockout. He's like, no, I'm actually a sharp, smart fighter. Like, and he is. People be trying to talk about how dumb and slow he is. I'm like, nah, y'all keep thinking that nigga dumb and slow. Like, that's part of his, you know what I'm saying, the thing that works for him. You know,
and they're not judging his fight game when they say that. You know?
I see, you know what? I finally seen somebody the other day. I forgot what it was, but they was commenting on the Pitbull. I think somebody put up a post about the Pitbull, and I said, in my opinion, man, that's one of the best times. If you ever want to see somebody like Tank box, go back and watch that. And somebody else has said in there, they were like, man, in my honest opinion, I think this boxing-wise, I think this was his best fight. I've been saying that too. I'm like, people just, they won't give him credit, but he was in that motherfucker boxing. Cause Like you want to see a little bit of Floyd. Like that's the closest. Like with his style coming from a southpaw, that's the closest Floyd you would see. But the way he did it, he was doing pull counters. He was ducking and weaving. He was pivoting it out, and he was limited. Man, that nigga was boxing that night. You know what I'm saying? Like go back and watch that shit. You want to see a clinic in boxing, like how to box your way out of some shit. Tank was boxing that night.
Hey, and the best thing about it, that wasn't even his initial game plan. You feel me?
Yep.
Like, of course, he hurt his hand, so he had to change his whole style mid-fight. And goddamn, transition was beautiful to me. You know what I mean? Because he was still throwing that left hand like crazy, and his defense was amazing.
He was still throwing that motherfucker.
Like I don't know too many boxers could have survived what Pitbull was bringing with no one hand, bro. You feel me? Like that guy defense really on another level.
That's why. Oh, I was just gonna say in that fight right there, one of the things I noticed is you can tell a fighter's IQ. They want to tell you what they want to tell you, but you have to ask this question: why did Pitbull never catch Tank on the ropes? And Tank was on the ropes. He would use the rope to kind of like sit down and then slide over, slide out, bluff you with the counter shot and then slide out and then step right, not all the way to the middle, but just enough out to whereas I'm a double jab you, catch you with some shit, and then move out and now place myself to the center of the ring, really showing that okay, no matter where this fight is, you don't know how to handle me. And even with one hand, I'm going to show you footwork, I'm going to show you ring generalship, and I'm going to show you the ability of what is the real sweet science of boxing without being boring. You know what I'm saying? So when you look at that fight, when I look at it, I put it up there with one of his top performances. To me, I still find it hard to see a fight that was, as far as I'm concerned with Tank, that was better than that Leo Santa Cruz fight. So when I look at certain tangibles, I'm like, okay, this is a guy whose back is against the wall. In the middle of the fight, he suffered an injury. It's like watching John the Beast Mugabe just get broke the fuck down after he was whipping Marvin Hagler's ass and split him open. And then Hagler just went back to his corner. They told him, look, you okay? He's like, yeah. And you got to go out there and put hands on this motherfucker, if not stop him, because they going to give him this fight. And Hagler just went out there and just destroyed him. That's where you just like, yeah, that's a bad motherfucker right there. That's a bad motherfucker. Terrence Crawford, Sean Porter. Oh, you down. He's like, what? I'm down. Okay, I'm gonna go out there and finish him.
Mm-hmm. Tank when Floyd told him that with the Barrios thing. But the other thing is this is the part where it's like, man, you gotta respect guys like that, because it's some people, if they hurt, they not gonna throw. They'll bluff. They'll do whatever. It's like this motherfucker was still throwing that motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like even like the way Mr. Gary Russell fought Mac Maxeo, he was still, because I believe it was his left shoulder. So to be southpaw, all you guys are lead. You get past that, then the guy's in trouble. Mr. Gary still boxed. So it's like how you fight when you hurt, like it's just, it's something that everybody ain't got. That's why, that it factor, that thing that people be like, because I think David Benavidez like that. Like it ain't gonna stop nothing. You gonna have to kill David Benavidez in that motherfucker for him to stop doing anything he want to do. And it's just certain fighters just like that, and those guys are going to be the stars.
Yeah. When you look at who did I just who did I just have in mind? Vito Milanicki, not this last fight, but the fight before that. He hurt his hand early on in that fight. Still was throwing that shit and wind up getting a stoppage. You know, not everybody is cut from that. I don't give a shit. I'm not quitting cloth. I'm going to fight through this. So when fighters show you that they have that no quit in them, that's a whole new level of play. You gotta give those fighters. You gotta give them that level of respect and say, all right, going into these next fights and stuff like that, what you're facing is no quit versus whatever talent you think you have or whatever talent you think you're bringing to the table. So I'll always kind of like give the edge to the no quit guy, because those no quit people, they dangerous down to the last second, and you don't get anything better as a better example than when you really go back. And I believe that was Chavez versus why did I just brain fart on old boy's name? Mildred Taylor. How you get knocked out in the last 10 seconds? So yeah, that's the point I'm making.
Yeah, and I think it also speaks to, because if these are artists, it speaks to their creativity. Like I like to see when a guy, because everybody can box, and you can tell when it's vanilla because it all look the same, but when people can get creative. Like if you hurt, but you can be creative and you can still land and maneuver and you know what I'm saying, and still do your thing. It's, you know, it's like, all right, well, shoot, I can't really use this one. I can only use this one. I really have to. Let me be more creative. Let me do this. Let me do this crossover. And okay, boom, I'm gonna do this. It's like, that's the creativity. That's sweet science, for real. It's not the dry eyes guy commercial saying, now what I did was I parried. You know, nah, man. But how y'all want to land, man? I think we did this one justice. How y'all want to land, man? Good stuff, man. Good stuff, AC, as always. Thanks for coming through, too, Calico. How y'all want to land?
I'll let Calico go.
Man, you already know. I mean, as far as the state of boxing, you know, we don't want to see number 50-50 fights, you know. We'll take a couple of 60-40s. But, you know, me personally, I ain't feeling what people are like. I could say even Anthony Joshua. I could say Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk is about to fight Rico. Like, I don't approve of what none of them been doing. You know? Like, Tyson Fury going all the way back to Ngannou. Like, come on, man. You know, that was Anthony Joshua's greatest performance was against Ngannou. Come on, man. Like, these guys taking up space. they hijacking belts. They could have got knocked out. All they had to do is run through the gauntlet. You know what I'm saying? You know that bloody alley. You feel me? But I don't think they really with it. And I'm sick of, you know, that's why I like the people like Xander Zayas in the sport, man. You feel me? Mm-hmm. I guarantee he probably gonna fight nothing but top names for the rest of his career, because, you know, Boots is one of them guys, and it's based on eye test. But based on the eye test, that guy is a huge threat, you know. And his confidence level has never been broken. So all of that keeps him superb, you know, in a serious, you know, contender, a serious threat, a champion, even without a belt. You feel me? So, man, I love it, man. You know, this ain't, like, Xander Zayas ain't no Keyshawn Davis, just no talking ass nigga. You know, I don't mean to say it like that. But he ain't just no talker. You feel me? He actually fighting Debo, the real Debo. You know what I'm saying? Like the baddest motherfucker in the division. Keyshawn would never. He won't fight the baddest man at 140. That's his brother. He won't fight the number 2 baddest man. He won't fight none of them motherfuckers. Unless it's, maybe Hitchens. But I'm just saying, like, that's all I'm looking forward to, real fights, man. Like all them UK fighters, I'm sick of. Like even my boy, Moses of the Tumor. Like, come on, man. We tired of you looking good against nothing. Huh? People talk, bad about my boy Whitaker. He ain't fought nobody. I know. But when I do my research on him, his amateur pedigree is impeccable. People that are popping up, making big names for themselves, he already beat them up, bro. He's a real boogeyman. Believe it or not, guys already know what he'll do to him. He did it to him. So it wouldn't be nothing to do with now. He welcomes that. I'm guaranteeing that's gonna be the best fight in the UK. The rest of these guys is just, even though he kind of fit the bill too, man. Nobody in the UK, everybody in the UK just fighting bums, But I put him at the top of the bum list. They all fight bums. I still like Ben Whitaker because I think people don't want to fight him. I'm gonna be honest. He beat him up already. Go look at his amateur record. He beat a lot of these big punching motherfuckers, bro. Like a big puncher ain't gonna beat Ben Whitaker. Unless the same thing going for Boots, but all these guys can slip with that showboat. And that's why I hope you listen to Terrence Crawford when he told him, don't play with your food, man. And I'm gonna just land right there.
Good. Great barbecue, man, right there at the end, man. You always speak your mind, man. That's what I respect about you, man. No matter what, you speak your mind and you know what you be talking about, man. So salute, man. Hope your work week is going good, man. And I'll catch you on the next one, brother.
Peace, brothers.
Peace.
Oh, me, I'll land it right here, man. At the end of the day, when I look at boxing landscape and I look at the type of people that can bring divisions back, the type of people that can bring sports back, the type of people that just really, really move the needle. They don't have to be the loudest spoken, but when they do speak, it speaks volumes when they're in the ring, and their performances outweigh whatever language barrier. I'm saying it like that because as a chef and doing consulting work, I've gone into kitchens where no one in that kitchen speaks English. But my work, once they taste my food and look at my approach, they like, oh wow, this guy knows some stuff. And then you can overcome that language barrier just by what you bring to the table. And when you look at a fighter like Tank has fans from every demographic. Tank is the one that, regardless of how much you're trying to sell us on Shakur, Devin, even Xander, Boots, it's Tank. It's just cut through it. Everybody's in the race to take Tank's spot. That's David Benavidez. That's Ben Rodriguez. That's whether you black, white, whatever the fuck you are. Everybody's in that race to take that man's spot. You know what I'm saying? And he's in that spot because you'll watch a whole card where the main and the co-main event are guys that he already finished, already stopped. But then they'll tell you he didn't fight nobody. But Ryan Garcia is a big star right now because he beat Mario Barrios, who Tank stopped, and Tank stopped Ryan Garcia. So That's how you know. It's not a matter of saying, "Oh, they don't get me. They ain't gonna give me my credit." Well, they don't give Tank his credit. They're not telling you, Bud or Shakur, you didn't go out and you ain't fight nobody. You ain't put on a card that had everyone that you beat and everyone that Shakur beat are fighting in the championship fight. You know what I'm saying? So you're asking for the respect. He's already got it. They're trying to tear him down to make you feel a certain way. And Tank will always be PBC's, royal flush. They'll always be everything that, makes the PBC what it is nowadays. Where Floyd left off, Errol and Tank and Deontay Wilder picked up. And when Errol and Deontay Wilder were no longer on the board, Tank is still there. David Benavidez is trying to be that guy for the company. And I ain't got no problem with that. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, for me, the Phantom Punch, for me, I'm going to give you this analogy, is the Phantom Punch for me is the mere fact that you're trying to sell me something that I didn't ask for. I didn't even see coming because I never asked for it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not buying into Shakur's the best fighter on the planet right now. I'm not buying that Devin Haney's the best fighter on the planet right now. You know what I'm saying? Where we are in this generation, this is where everybody has to retire. I got to go through your career. Am I saying who's the most exciting active fighters? I've already got that list. You know what I'm saying? So for me, great show, great topics. And I just look forward to many of these fights coming up and then cooking on after these first press conferences. See whose energy is where it is and stuff like that. And that's where I landed, buddy.
I appreciate you, AC, man. You drop bars, man. Hope you enjoy the rest of your evening, man. You know we want to chop it up, man.
Yeah, you too, bro. On to the next one.
Peace. Another good one in the books. And I'll say this. I believe that this channel is the Phantom Punch. This channel is the channel that nobody saw coming. This channel is the channel that, whether you want to admit it or not, man, there's always good things to hear and good concepts. And for the most part, aside from a few pieces of choice language every now and again when we get hyper, we keep it boxing. We talk about relevant topics and we don't get toxic. We try to bring something new and different, and we don't stay on the beaten path, and we give credit where it's due. We put all these boxes on the scale. We want to know the length, the width, the breadth, the depth, the buoyancy, the capacity, the volume of them all. So we judge them all accordingly. And even when it's a fighter that we rock with, but we gotta, speak on that necessary evil, we'll do that too. We even give you grace if you're going through something and it's just not our business to even talk about. We focus inside the ring. We compliment the guys that need a loudspeaker for, not just the people that, because you're getting paid, and things like that. What's the fun in that? And the guys that are really doing things like those Shockey Foster, like the Xander Zayas, Brian Norman even offering up his strap to Devin, like making that decision in this era. Look at how your boy moving. Look how your boy's moving. Look how Batman and Robin is moving. The proof is in the pudding. It's up to these guys to reach down in their pantalones and decide, hey, I still got some cojones, and make the fights like Xander. Xander didn't have to do it, but he did it, and he's daring to be great. You can say, "Oh man, they cashed him out. They doing it." Either way, he didn't have to make this fight. He could have milked another payday. Might not have been as lucrative, you know. But he could have waited around and went for another scrap. He could have tried to unify with Josh Kelly, but without the spirit behind these guys, that's why I think one of the reasons why D. Calico's pulling for him. It's not that he's not a fan of Boots. It's just that he likes the energy and the spirit behind Xander. You know, and he liked the sweet signs. He liked those boxers too. You know, but without that kind of spirit, where people are saying, you know what, like without the spirit of David Benavidez, where would this sport be? It's already, you know, this could be a whole show. The fact that Navarrete made the pound for pound list. If my memory serves me correct, didn't Conceição put the Beats by Dre down on him and he got exposed as being a weight bully? Because whenever he come up to 35, he get his ass busted. And then he go back down. And this last time he looked stellar. He looked like he finally got his act together. He got in shape. You know, that was the most in shape. But he made the pound for pound, and a guy like Tank ain't even on it. Ain't even on it. Oshaki, they ain't even talking about it. He ain't on it. There was times when the undisputed champ, Jermell Charlo, who went by and picked up straps one by one, he wasn't even on. Like, most people never had Jermell Charlo on their pound for pound list. But accolades and everything is everything. No, it's he who controls the printed page controls the thinking at his age. We say silence is consent, meaning that all it takes for evil to prevail is for men and women to remain silent. So we got to speak to the things that need to be spoken to in the sport of boxing. We can do it with class, or we can get into some more gangster shit. We tend to try to do it with class. We stay off the beaten path. And we always going to be a loudspeaker, a voice, a platform for all the predators that's on that ass. Yeah. That's what this channel been doing. We did it for Matias. We was doing it for Hitchens until he fumbled. You know, we do it for Tank. We always put out the truth. You know, we don't got to put out knee pads and be first about all the breaking news and get into his personal business. We stick to inside the ring. That 93.33% doing it against people where he's never had the advantages, the majority of them. Yeah, they need to be spoken to. People that went on to be champs and got a belt off of a guy that he already stopped, like AC said. But he hasn't fought nobody. He don't deserve to be on the pound for pound list, even though he's been in 4 divisions. He was the first one to get rid of Pedraza. And guess what? He mastered what Muhammad Ali mastered, the technique behind what we call the phantom punch. There's no such thing as a phantom punch. Really what it is speed, time, and accuracy. Most of the time, they're not drawn back shots. They're short, choppy shots, but either because of the camera angle or delay reaction or whatever have you. Like Sonny Liston and Muhammad Ali and Ryan Garcia and Tank. They delivered it. Why? Speed, power, time, and accuracy. All combined in one with an awesome IQ to get the job done. That's why I wanted to talk about the phantom punch. I wanted to take people back down memory lane and to build some equity back in the sport. Salute to D. Calico, May Lazar, Cookie Monster, AC, Crush came through, Thomas Hill stopped by. Salute to everybody who came by and showed support, man. Like the channel. If you haven't subscribed, I need three more subscribers. Subscribe to the channel, leave a comment. If you catch this on the playback, talk to me, holler at me, I'll talk back. We all monetized. It was very hard. We didn't click up, link up. We didn't do none of that. We didn't have to join no cult. We didn't have to do nothing strange for no chain. We had to knock on no doors, sit on no couches, put on no knee pads, no throat coat, no tonsil jewelry, none of that. We just was being ourselves and just plugging away one at a time. This is the 300. Y'all seen the movie, y'all already know what the 300 is. Like I said, I'm the Lloyd Banks of this shit because I can really walk away with this shit and be okay with this shit. But I find a way to be grateful each and every day for this shit. So I stay with it. And I try to bring y'all fresh, good content. I always try to leave with something that you could put in your rucksack and march on with. We say go enjoy all those other channels and come over here and see what we got to say. You might be impressed, you might be enlightened, you might get pissed off. If it's about somebody that you don't necessarily care for, skip that one. Come back on the next one when I'm talking about somebody that you do like. Either way, I know you're going to gain something from it. Y'all know I could talk this boxing all night. Thanks for choosing Bodywork Boxing. But we don't take things for face value. We do that body work.
He didn't want to box. He wanted to actually prove that he could punch with you. He was like, what the fuck is this nigga, right? Oh, okay, you want to go to sleep. You tired.
Welcome to Bodywork.